Welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, God is a Bullet. I'm mildly excited about this, although it's only 5.5 on IMDb. 2,432 people rated it so far, but Maika Monroe is in it, right? Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, you know him if you see him. January Jones, Jamie Foxx, Jonathan Tucker's in it. Oh my gosh. Okay, alright. Even better. You know what I mean? Like Jonathan Tucker is a lot of good stuff. Anyway, this is based on a true story about a detective who takes matters into his own hand. Yeah, I think his wife or the cult to save his kidnapped daughter and avenge the murder of his wife. Okay, so his daughter is kidnapped by a cult and his wife is murdered. So this detective takes things into his own hand. I don't know. I mean, come on, right? So, let's see. I'm excited. 2 hours long. Whatever. Low score. It's got to be good. It's got to be. Stick around. I'll let you know. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of God is a Bullet, and although the title, I didn't even think about this, the title leads you to believe it's a little bit more, involved with faith. There is slight mention of faith and stuff like that. If you're not into that, don't let that deter you. I mean, there's just a little bit of, whatever. I didn't even think about it until I just thought about the title. It really, has some religion-based stuff in it, but not over the top. That should deter anybody who might be afraid of that. Of course, obviously I don't care. Anyway, back to the main points about this, and I really liked it, and I feel like there's even more potential there. I don't even know where I'm going with this review, but I'm jumping all over the place, so stay with me here. Maika Monroe, phenomenal. I think she is good. It's amazing that I think back, like when I didn't discover her, but when I first found out who she was like an ex-surfer who became an actress, right? Pretty face who becomes an actress. Great. It happens all the time, right? But she has like pretty incredible range, I think. She doesn't just play the, lack of a better term, Barbie doll type of roles. She plays these kind of roles, like tattoos up to here, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's pretty impressive. Now, with that said, I do feel, my humble opinion, that there is some poor dialogue given to her in certain situations throughout this movie, which also teeter on the side. I've always come back to this. It's the writing, is it the dialogue, or is it the actor? There's scenes where it's like, ooh, I don't know, But I've seen her in so many different things that I think it's really the words that they gave her for certain roles. She was playing like a pretty far stretched character here, but I felt, I don't know. And if they say one more time, you're crossing over, ooh, you'll see what I mean if you watch this movie. They just said it way too many times. I get it. They're going to cross over, right? This is all based on a true story. However, it does stretch your imagination. There's, you can't go into it thinking this is all, at least in my opinion. Maybe it is all factual, and I'm sure it's not, right? There's, I'm sure some daughter got kidnapped by some cult, and some father went after them. That's where I think it goes. After that, I don't know. But it makes for an enjoyable film. Like this is, where the father, and I have to look up his name real quick, but the father goes out like any good father would and tries to find his daughter and hopefully rescue her and then take people into justice. So I said Jamie Foxx, Paul Johansson. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name. Jamie Foxx, of course, is in this. Not a major role, but he's in it. Paul Johansson, One Tree Hill. I know. I wouldn't even say I'm a closet One Tree Hill fan. I'm right out there in the open. Love One Tree Hill. So don't judge me unless you've watched all 10 seasons. Anyway, Paul Johansson was in it, and he was in this movie. Again, a smaller role, not very big. But all in all, the movie, like I said, I enjoyed it. Now here's where I'm going to get a little bit critical besides what I've already done, is there's a budding relationship between our detective and Maika Monroe's character, which is Casey, or Case, something like that, Case, I guess. And his name's Bob and Case. So I felt early on when you're watching this film, I felt that they try and make you believe the relationship's closer than what was developed for you on film. And that kind of held true. Now, it does develop. A 2-hour film. There is a relationship between the two of them. That continues to evolve and develop. But, I don't know what it was. Early, they tried to, it's already home. And that just wasn't the case. They had just met. And they don't even know each other, but they're already acting like, not even romantic relationship. I'm just talking, friendship relationship or acquaintances. It wasn't there, and they tried to make it feel that way. And maybe it was. You think about these films, I'm sure, when somebody writes them, and I think it's also based on a book, that is there, right? In this case, it wasn't on the film. And then you get to the end, and again, I never really felt, you could see it growing and maturing, but for me, it never got to that point yet. Even though everything that they go through and all that kind of stuff, sorry, cinnamon, it never really gets there for me. And that's my only gripe. I knew what they were trying to do, and I get it. But from an emotional, internal standpoint, I didn't get it. And so, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, and maybe you'll get it, or maybe it was the director, the writer, the producer, the actors. I don't know whose fault it was, but that is one thing that's there, but just didn't click. What I thought was cool, I thought the movie was over at one point, and I was like, okay, good movie. And it's not, So that was neat. I like that aspect of it. I don't know. I'm sure I had other things I wanted to share. I thought the soundtrack was pretty cool. And yeah, you're crossing over. Was the note I wrote down? Stop saying you're crossing over. I get it. But the soundtrack tries to help you get there. And I enjoyed it. Still wasn't there for me. There's something just, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I can't tell you. I can't do it. I know I can't do it. But, I don't know. But ultimately, I did like the movie. I liked it for her performance. I mean, his performance was okay. Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. He was good, Bob. But he's like that in all of his movies. She's different, and I thought she does a good job. But I felt that there were scenes where it's like, so much so far. And I feel there's gaps. That's one last thing I'll say. I know there's something else I wanted to. I feel like there's gaps. There's pieces that aren't there, and I guess assumed, but I don't feel that way. I feel like, I don't know. Again, 2-hour long movie. I get it. And I wanted it. I wanted it all. And I know it's based on a true story and based on, I think, a book about the true story. So I bet you're reading the book will get everything that we're looking for. But I felt like they had to leave certain things out, because of the length of the film. And I get that. I understand. I don't know what you move and what I'd have to really sit down and really go through it all. But I do feel that there were certain things that happened, and I won't go into great detail, that was like, not enough time spent on that, or where did that come from? Where did the money come from? Where did this come from? You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, and it's like, I'm watching the movie intently. It wasn't on my phone at all. So, that tells you something. In the end, worth the watch for me. Really enjoyed it. With all the faults that I have shared with you, I still thought it was really good. So, as I always say, I'm very hypercritical on films that I enjoy. And this one was right up there. So there you go. That's what I got for you. Check it out if you have the 2 hours. Maybe you'll disagree. Maybe there's a lot of other things that I missed. But for me, it was worth it. Alright, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.